Oh, the Super Bowl, that sounds pretty good.
The Seahawks are going back to the Super Bowl.
What our team's been able to do up to this point and how they've done it, we're just blessed.
Cowboys ready. Hell yeah. Throw is made. Touchdown. Seahawks. No way. Oh, baby.
Absolutely drilled.
Who that one? It's a shot downfield. Caught for the touchdown. Hell yeah.
It has been a storybook sophomore season for Drake May. Over 4,000 passing yards, 35 combined touchdowns, 14-3 record in the regular season, likely a top 2 finisher in MVP voting this weekend. May can add Super Bowl champion to that list of accomplishments. Here's May last night on his mentality heading into the big game on Sunday.
I'm concern-free. I'm going in this game, worried about my play and how I can play best for this team. And that's whatever I can do to come out with the win, and it doesn't matter. I know I got to try to play well for us to win, and our defense has been playing great all year. So big trust in what they do, and big trust in that we're going to have a great plan on offense and execute it. I think there was a big enough gap to where the legacy and what the Patriots did in the past, it's time for a new era. I think we're embracing it, and Coach Vrabel and what we're trying to build here is something that we're buying into. I wouldn't say it's daunting. I think it's rewarding.
You've won a Super Bowl with the Patriots, haven't you?
I did.
What's at stake for Drake May this weekend?
I think to what his point is, a lot of the conversation will be centered around the class of quarterback that he will potentially elevate himself into with a win. We start to compare him and put him in that elite category. The same question we asked of Sam Darnold. To me, I look at this Drake May, what's on the line is he mentioned the previous regime and the previous dynasty that came before him. Drake May winning a Super Bowl in his second year, potentially a Super Bowl MVP if he performs well on the biggest stage. Now the conversation for him, you start to compare and you start to bring up the Tom Brady and the dynasties. Not that he's there, but that he potentially can chase down and try to do some of the things that came before him. So when you talk about what's at stake for a second-year quarterback, the second youngest quarterback to start in an NFL since Dan Marino, when you have those type of feats early on, when you've taken your team where nobody expected at the beginning of the season with a head coach in his first year there with the team, a brand new offensive coordinator, you start to look and say, well, damn, Drake May hasn't even reached his full potential of where he can take this football team. This is only 1 year within the rebuild. So I think that's where the conversation starts to go, where now we're looking at Drake May and say, well, wow, within that 2024 class, he is now the best, but where can he go beyond that with this team, especially when you look around their division and what potentially can come. The Jets is a team that is constantly in a rebuild. Miami just hired a new head coach, and so did Buffalo. We just talked about what's going on there. So I think for Drake May, this could be the start of something that nobody anticipated in August when training camp was starting.
I say.
Well, I would say this to you, J. Mac. Could you please be a bit decent to the football world by not mentioning the Miami Dolphins in this discussion? I mean, they've been irrelevant in the postseason since the turn of the century. I mean, they've been that irrelevant for that damn long. There's a lot to rave about Miami, just not their football team. We know that, okay? Not their pro football team. Okay, let's get that out the way.
Or a different
right?
show, though.
I will tell you that I'd be very interested in seeing if Drake May were to win a Super Bowl, the AFC East would suddenly become incredibly interesting because of what's going on in Buffalo and what they would have to usurp in order to get to the prominence that they aspire to reach. So I like it that way. But I think the way to look at this, Jeff Saturday, is that Drake May's playing with house money. Yeah. When you look at him being in the second year in the league, then winning 14 games, clearly led by their defense, that being sort of reminiscent of what it was like when Tom Brady first took over, many, many years ago. I think those things, I mean, the only hiccup is that you draw the comparison to a Tom Brady because obviously the defense was leading the way and he didn't get in the way and he continued to grow and evolve and ultimately, elevate into the extraordinary leader that he was. Drake May has an opportunity to do that. But when you're looking at the playoffs numbers right now, I'm just looking at it, 3-0 record for sure. Only complete 56% of his passes, throwing for 178 yards a game, 6 fumbles, lost 3 of them, 5 total turnovers, 15 times sacked in the 3 playoff games, 5 each game, and a passer rating that dipped from 113.5 during the regular season to 84 in the playoffs. So you're looking at him and their offense, and you know that the Seattle Seahawks is the superior team. If you lose, okay, you lost to the better team. And you lost to a team that has, as great as your defense is, they're the number one defense in the National Football League. And you might have been bereft of the weapons necessary in Butte and Booty, rather, and Diggs and those guys, as good as they are. You know what? Going up against Seattle's defense might be asking a bit too much. If you lose. If you win, wow, you pulled that off. Sky's the limit. And suddenly, like you said, J-Mac, there are those Brady comparisons in terms of what potentially could be. But he has very little to lose and an extraordinary amount to gain. That would be my answer to this question.
Yeah, this is massive for me. I think where Drake May sits is he sits right at the cusp. By winning this, it would put him in the Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady starts of career. And I'll say this about even when you're trying to compare the Tom Brady thing, if you look at what Drake May has done this season, now I understand the playoffs have been subpar compared to the season, but his season, this guy's an MVP. Like, literally, he could win the MVP on Thursday night. And everybody's just like calling it in that Matthew Stafford did. Yeah. This guy went from winning 4 games a year to 14 in one season and had over 4,000 yards. He's, by the way, in the playoffs, he's faced the Chargers, the Texans, and Denver, 3 of the best defenses. So nobody's going to go up there and just light it up. And one of the games, you might as well take a half of it. And that snowstorm, ain't any quarterback going to look, light it up in Denver the way that the conditions were in that game. But I take this and say, he could put himself in a different stratosphere, and that means the Tom Brady's and the Patrick Mahomes, right? Winning it in the style, especially if he has a day like Sam Darnold did in the NFC Championship game. He goes out and throws for 250 or 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, has some kind of performance. Yeah. Now you're putting him in a class that, again, it takes him out of the Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, because he has won a Super Bowl, and he did it so quick. The second youngest quarterback in the history of our game, Marino and May. Man, you talking about elite company. When I look at him, I think he has so much to gain from this opportunity. And again, I agree with Stephen A. Like, if you look at the rosters, you would say Seattle, has the advantage here. But man, the way May has played in the season leading up to the playoffs. By the way, y'all, he's got 2 rookies at the left side of his offensive line who have not played well. Part of why his numbers are down in the playoffs is because of what Stephen A. said. 15 sacks, that's 5 a game, y'all. That's a lot of, I don't care what quarterback is playing. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, you hit quarterbacks, it changes them. And the injury that he had, there's a lot going to that, Stephen A.
J-Mac, I'll give you the last word. And I appreciate that soliloquy Sergeant Friday just went on. I just got to get on him about something. I don't mean to sound like Mad Dog Russo here, but take it easy.
No, sir.
Take it easy.
No, sir.
When hold on, let me hear my point. When you brought up Dan Marino, that's where you lost me. I had to punch it up again just to make sure I remembered correctly. Dan Marino, in his second year, threw for 5,000 yards in the 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, this ain't I'm not to call the NFL soft because we would never call the NFL soft, but compared to what it used to be
it's like
in the 80s,
500 yards.
Dan Marino threw for 5,000 yards, and on top of it all, 48 touchdowns. So, I mean, no. Don Shula never gave him a defense. That was Dan Marino throwing the Super Duper and Mark Super Duper and Mark Clayton and those boys. Watch your tongue,
no, sir.
Sergeant Friday. You can't compare that
filibuster right now. You're filibustering me right now. If he wins it, Dan Marino didn't win it. You're taking a separation again because he would. This is all going on if he wins it, not just getting there. We're gonna have that. If you go win the Super Bowl, you do get put in a different category that unfortunately Marino's not in. Stephen A. I don't care what year it is.
But you were talking about the second year in the league, and I'm like, it's 2 different worlds for the second year in the league. The offense for the Miami Dolphins carried them to the Super Bowl. The defense has carried these Patriots to the Super Bowl. Let's not get it twisted.
No,
that's Dan Marino you're talking about here. Watch your tongue.
That is not true. Their offense played extremely well in the regular season. They have not done as good a job in the playoffs, but their offense, he's an MVP. He's either going to be first or second in the MVP.
It was come on, Sergeant Friday. It was
You are
the offense
too much.
Was the offense was all right. The That offense was all right. I'm talking compared to Dan Marino, that offense in Miami. Come on now.
I mean, listen, you're the only one who's old enough to have watched Dan Marino live. But look, I was pulling for Marino.
That was me.
Hey, I just want to help Stephen A. Like when you say J-Mac, I'm gonna give you the last word. Eventually, like y'all gotta stop talking so I can get the last word.
You're right.
I want to hold y'all accountable because both of you guys have said and stated that Drake May has nothing to lose. He's playing with house money. You're talking about Dan Marino, who made it to the Super Bowl, the youngest quarterback. Never got back.
Yeah.
So I think for Drake May, it's not just house money. Like, you don't know what the future holds. So you have to go out there and perform your butt off and try to win this one because there's no guarantee you're going back.
Well, Don Shula never gave him a defense.
It's the final word.
Don Shula never gave him a defense. Vrabel gonna give him a defense. He already gave him one.
You can't get it. You can't get the last word.
You can't.
You can't get the last word.
I can though. Saturday.
Take it easy.
Yeah. Saturday, first quarterback to start a Super Bowl from North Carolina.
Tar Heels.
Let's
go. We work.
Come on,
I just
Shay.
wanted to help it
Come
out.
on, Shay.
All right, let's get to some props to watch for the Super Bowl. Jeff, we'll start with you. You're taking, shockingly, Drake May to have over 19.5 completions. Why?
Oh, over, because they may be down. And if they're down, he's going to drop back and sling that thing around. And let's go. Campbell, you got to protect them on the backside and go, toss that thing around. I think 20 completions is a good number in this for him. I think he can get there. I really do.
J-Mac, I don't know if you agree or not, but you're going to take Sam Darnold on the other side over a half interception in this game. Explain and go ahead.
They only need one.
Yeah.
And I think you look at this New England defense, that's one thing that they've done throughout the course of the playoffs. Force turnovers. C.J. Stroud have 4 of them in the first half, and they do so by bringing pressure. They're going to be